Kelly Ripa's morning smile is something that millions of people find themselves watching each and every day. Over the course of more than 2 decades, people have tuned in for reasons other than merely celebrity. To a greater extent than for her culinary displays or gossip, she was known for her friendliness, humor, and the sense of normalcy that she brought into people's living rooms. The lives of many of us in our generation became replete with her presence and influence, someone who could accompany your morning coffee and provide a voice that is steadying but not distracting. On the other hand, even the most determined smiles are not completely infallible. When she spoke about Mark's suffering, the nation became aware that there was a woman who was carrying a burden that was not visible to anyone. Kelly's humorous banter, engaging laughter, and lighthearted teasing are the reasons why everyone liked her behavior. There was, however, an unsettling silence that occurred during one of the transmissions. Those of us who have been around for a relatively long time are aware of the value of maintaining silence. They are not on the market. They weighed a great deal. Although she eventually spoke, her voice was weak and trembled with weakness. The television personality Kelly was no longer she. Among the various roles that Kelly played in her life, she was a wife, a partner, and a woman who was terrified of betraying her closest friend. There are only 3 letters there. I, you. However, the weight of the entire globe rests on the shoulders of each and every person who has traversed those corridors. Machines on a regular basis produce noise. Time continues to painfully drag on. When it comes to love, quite a bit of waiting is involved. Mark was portrayed in a painting by Kelly at that location, changeable from one day to the next. She went on to claim that she would hold his hand and listen to the rhythm of his breathing, sometimes speaking, and other times just listening to him. It seemed to her that every sound was a prayer, whether it was answered or still being prayed for. During the course of the night, Kelly stated that she was concerned that Mark would not survive. As she waited for the monitor to slow down and the doctors to speak, she braced herself for the unimaginable for a few terrifying moments. She reflected on the times when she had made a gentle expression of her devotion for him and reassured him that he did not have to exert himself if he was fatigued. A good number of you have reached the point where loving someone is less a promise to keep them here and more an invitation to let them leave. This is the moment that you have reached. Kelly could feel Mark's fingers getting closer to her as she was on the verge of losing him. Hers weak and trembling, but with a definite intent. Although it was on the smaller side, it was adequate. The message that he will not give up was well communicated. The amount that was sufficient for her to be aware that he was still present and wrestling with her. She would rely on that event which had become her anchor whenever she was confronted with difficulties in the future. When it comes to rehabilitation, there is no straight line. Along the way, there were challenges, infections, sleepless nights, and therapies that were successful one day but failed to deliver the desired results the next. On the other hand, there were also some little achievements, such as an improvement in breathing, a more stable heart rate, and an out-of-trouble giggle that was able to escape despite the tubes and the discomfort. According to Kelly, these transitory moments are like small wins that transport loved ones on their journey with them. Those of us who have spent nights in waiting rooms are familiar with the impact of one great day. Mark and Kelly's children were incredibly strong. They sat down next to their father and shared jokes and anecdotes with him in an attempt to make him smile. According to Kelly's description, the children found themselves taking on the responsibilities of grown-ups after being shielded from them. As a parent or grandmother, I understand the happiness and sadness that come with seeing your kids take on responsibilities that you hope they would never have to handle. One night, as the sirens went off, a team of doctors and nurses rushed around Mark's bed. According to Kelly, time seemed to stop. The body was overcome by a shredding terror, but the personnel were able to stabilize him as quickly as it had begun. She referred to the medical staff as scrubs and angels in her speech of gratitude. Many of us are reminded of the medical professionals who were instrumental in her own stories, using their hands to silently and empathetically save lives. Kelly characterized Mark's inner fire as wanting to fight, even when he was weak. He remained devoted to his family, joked when he could, and flirted with nurses just enough to show off his former sweet side. She said his spirit never rested, even while he was in a hospital bed. If you have fought illness, you know the truth. Healing is influenced by a variety of factors. It has a lot of heart and vitality, and is really human. At one point, Mark whispered to Kelly, "If I can keep this up." It was honest, unvarnished, and very scary. Kelly admitted to crying uncontrollably by his bed. In his eyes, she saw a man she had loved for decades ago. They had kids, a story, and mornings they hadn't yet known. She reminded him of it all. Staying alive doesn't always depend on medical intervention. Motivational stories that remind us that life is worth fighting for. The screens looked more hopeful in the morning, Kelly recalled. The doctor's smiles and the word improvement were given after Mark's breathing stabilized. It was like seeing the dawn after an endless night, as she described it. The sensation of relief and cautious joy that things could be improving is familiar to anyone who has ever sat by a hospital bed. When you leave the hospital, the fight is far from over. Kelly explained Mark's vulnerability in more detail. The famous actress and television host Ripa recently talked about a very personal and tragic period of her life. Her husband, Mark Consuelos, is battling a serious illness. Fans were stunned and moved by the revelation as the always vivacious Ripa revealed her true feelings about a battle that few were aware the pair had faced behind closed doors. Kelly called the event a roller coaster of fear, hope, and unwavering love during her morning show. The strong emotions that come with witnessing a loved one's struggle for their life were vividly depicted in her words. Mark Consuelos, known for his parts in Riverdale, Saved by the Bell, The New Class, and All My Children, has consistently been a strong and endearing character on film. However, even a person as powerful as Mark had to fight a battle behind the scenes that tested every ounce of his fortitude. Ripa said the experience made the pair face their vulnerability in a way they had never done before. "You understand how fleeting life can be," she remarked. "I was constantly inspired by Mark's bravery and tenacity, but there were times of pure terror when all you could do was cling on and hope." Her frank observations struck a chord with the audience, and several of them posted encouraging and uniting messages on social media. A new outlook on their marriage has also been brought about by the health scare. The fight served as a reminder of the strength of love, commitment, and family. According to Kelly and Mark, who had been together for over 20 years together, they had 3 kids, and Ripa emphasized how the experience made it clear how important it is to treasure each moment spent with those you love. "It helps you understand what's important," she remarked. "We grew closer as a family and discovered how to enjoy the little things in life." Ripa focused on the emotional journey and the support networks that got them through it, even though she did not reveal every aspect of Mark's condition. Friends, family, and medical professionals were invaluable during a period of uncertainty. To be resilient and hopeful, the pair also turned to their daily rituals and faith. Ripa's bravery in speaking up about such a private and terrible experience has been praised by her fans. Love, support, and anecdotes of people overcoming personal adversity have been abundant on social media. Many viewers have commented on how her openness inspires and comforts people going through similar difficulties. As of right now, Mark Consuelos is still getting well, and the pair is facing life with newfound strength and gratitude. Kelly's moving remarks serve as a reminder of the transience of life, the human spirit's tenacity, and the enduring power of love in the face of adversity. This tragic yet inspiring story serves as a reminder to fans that even celebrities have hardships, and that family, friends, and courage can be the difference in life's most trying times.